Wild boars have increasingly displayed signs of bold and persistent behavior. With sharp tusks and strong physical resilience, these animals often cause serious damage to agricultural areas, uprooting crops and damaging fields that require significant effort to cultivate. In many cases, they retreat into forested regions where they are difficult to track, making management efforts more challenging. Wildlife control operations, carried out by licensed individuals, aim to address the growing threat posed by wild boars to farmlands and rural communities. These operations involve teams entering forested or mountainous terrain, where boars are known to roam. Encounters often occur without warning, and preparedness is essential to ensure the safety and effectiveness of the response. Tracking begins with the observation of signs such as disturbed brush or footprints. When a wild boar appears, rapid action may be necessary. In one case, a boar emerged from the foliage and was immediately brought down by a precise shot, minimizing suffering and risk to surrounding individuals. Teams then continue to relocate based on the signs and sounds of nearby activity. Wild boars, especially when startled, may charge toward perceived threats. Trained personnel must remain calm and execute responses in accordance with safety procedures. In one such instance, a boar charged forward, prompting a defensive action that stopped its movement and prevented further damage. Hunting dogs are often employed during these operations. Their tracking ability helps identify the location of wild boars hiding within dense undergrowth. When a leader of the herd was detected in one operation, the response was immediate and effective, causing the remaining animals to scatter. Although some escaped, follow-up efforts ensured additional captures. Due to their movement in groups, it is not uncommon for more than one encounter to occur in a short time. Each response must be carefully measured, with attention to humane practices and legal regulations. As the day progresses and light diminishes, operations typically conclude for safety and logistical reasons. In one documented event, a silhouette of a boar appeared on a forest path shortly before nightfall. The animal was stopped using a clean, targeted shot, bringing the session to a close. These efforts, while rooted in traditional wildlife management, serve the dual purpose of protecting agricultural investments and contributing to ecosystem balance. Elsewhere, communities have reported increased wild boar activity along mountainous slopes. Operations are organized early in the day to intercept these animals before they reach lower-lying areas. Navigating such steep and slippery slopes requires planning and physical readiness. At one site, a wild boar suddenly emerged near a roadside mound. The response was immediate, resulting in a clean and humane conclusion before the primary ambush had even begun. The designated ambush point, situated after a 30-minute hike, overlooked a dense brush area below, a known path for wild boars. One boar, evading an initial shot, reappeared at a predicted location and was successfully stopped. Shortly afterward, a herd was observed moving uphill. A clear shot targeted a single boar, which tumbled down the slope while others fled. Another individual was stopped at a higher vantage point after emerging from dense cover. In mountainous habitats, wild boars favor thick vegetation for foraging. Understanding these patterns enables effective strategic positioning. Wildlife teams are typically placed at varying elevations to prevent escape routes and coordinate efficiently. Reports from scouting teams may also assist in locating injured animals. In one instance, a wounded boar attempted to hide but was swiftly found and dispatched with a single controlled shot. Teams often rotate between elevated and lower positions, adapting as the day progresses. On one narrow path between the valley and the slope, movement in the brush signaled the presence of another wild boar. The response was swift, and the animal was brought down without prolonged pursuit. These paths are commonly used by wildlife, making them effective locations for monitoring. In a separate scene from Florida, vast open fields with no natural cover left wild boars exposed. Startled by coordinated sound and movement, the animals scattered. Such environments limit their options for escape and require strategic planning to ensure outcomes are humane and within regulatory standards. Across all locations, the common objective remains clear: to manage wild boar populations responsibly, protect crops and property, and maintain ecological stability. Hunting teams are guided by regulations, and all actions are conducted under appropriate licenses and ethical frameworks. While these operations may conclude with immediate success, the broader effort to manage wildlife-human interactions is ongoing and requires continued vigilance. Wild boars, known for their intelligence and resilience, are becoming increasingly difficult to deter. When cornered, these animals may choose to charge instead of fleeing, posing real challenges to those involved in population management. A fully grown wild boar can weigh over 300 pounds, and if provoked, may attempt to defend itself with speed and force. In such situations, rapid decision-making is critical. In one incident, a group of wild boars moved across a cultivated field with force, causing extensive agricultural damage. Rows of soil were uprooted, crops were trampled, and irrigation systems were destroyed. These actions were not driven by hunger alone, but also by the species' instinct to forage and defend territory. Strong metal fencing was bent, water tanks were toppled, and cultivated land was left in disarray. Such widespread destruction has prompted increased attention toward population control measures. As part of these efforts, trained individuals equipped with the appropriate licenses carry out wildlife management duties to prevent further agricultural loss. When wild boars conceal themselves in fields, equipment such as harvesters may inadvertently flush them out, making visibility and safety even more important during routine farming operations. In one instance, wild boars attempted to flee toward the edge of the field, but were intercepted. A clean, precise shot brought down a target swiftly and without unnecessary suffering. These scenarios underscore the importance of humane and professional practices in wildlife control. At another location, wild boars continued to cause destruction across open fields. With support from trained dogs, professionals tracked movements and responded accordingly. When a startled boar emerged from the underbrush, a well-placed shot ensured a swift and clean result. Occasionally, wild boars are able to evade initial attempts, requiring repositioning and calm persistence to avoid escalation. Motorized transport, such as dirt bikes, is sometimes used to cover terrain more efficiently. In one case, a wild boar was spotted moving across a green field. As the chase began, multiple shots were fired, though the target continued to maneuver until one final accurate shot ended the pursuit. Dogs trained for scent tracking play a vital role in these efforts. In a coordinated sweep through a cornfield, their barking led hunters to key areas. As the sun set, visibility became limited, making timing critical. One sighting resulted in a successful interception just before the animal could cross into an adjacent field. The management of wild boars is not solely about containment or population reduction. It is also linked to protecting crops, maintaining balance in rural ecosystems, and even ensuring the continued health of wild boar populations themselves. Uncontrolled growth can lead to food shortages, disease, and increased human-wildlife conflict. For some rural families, the damage caused by wild boars has become a recurring issue. Elderly landowners, once able to defend their farms, may no longer be in a position to act. As a result, younger relatives or volunteers often step in to help. In one such case, individuals initiated a wildlife management plan focused on reducing damage near a family-owned farm. Strategically placed bait was used in the swampy area bordering the farm to draw wild boars to a controlled location. Elevated positions were used to provide a clearer line of sight and to maintain safety. One shot from this vantage point successfully neutralized a target with minimal disturbance to the surrounding area. Patience and precision are essential, especially when working from treetop ambush spots. These elevated positions offer better visibility but also carry risks, requiring slow, careful movement. In one instance, a small group of wild boars approached the area, drawn by the scent of bait. With careful adjustment of the scope, a target was isolated and taken down with one precise shot. Air rifles are also used in certain regions as a quieter, controlled method of intervention. One such method resulted in a near-instantaneous outcome when a boar entered a vulnerable position and was dispatched quickly and humanely. Elevated ambush techniques have proven effective in dense vegetation. The height reduces the chance of detection and increases safety, though it demands a higher level of concentration and physical coordination. Throughout multiple encounters, each successful shot contributed to reducing pressure on local farmland. Wild boars, despite being cautious by nature, may be drawn closer to baited areas when food sources are scarce. These methods allow for controlled engagement, minimizing risks to other wildlife and ensuring compliance with environmental laws. In all instances, proper licensing, adherence to local wildlife protection regulations, and a commitment to humane treatment are essential to responsible wildlife management. Through these coordinated efforts, rural communities can better safeguard their land, support local ecosystems, and mitigate conflicts between human activity and wildlife behavior.